back for part 3. This is Sports Moods. 2 Moodies,
1 dude.
Sports. Let's go.
Guys, we're back. Part 3. Just finishing up on the Raw review. We've already, just to recap what we've already talked about, the McGregor-Mayweather fight. We're still finishing up on Monday Night Raw. So we're still in the middle of Lesnar versus Strowman coming up at No Mercy. Just kind of talking about how we feel about that match coming up and what's been happening to lead up to it right now. For me, I mean, at SummerSlam, Braun Strowman just went straight beast mode on Brock. I've never seen anybody handle Brock Lesnar the way that Strowman did. And he still came back. Brock Lesnar still came back to finish the match. But as me and C. Moody was talking about before, we did our little pre-picks for SummerSlam, and I told him Brock was going to retain the title.
He did.
He was like, nah. I think you said Joe. You wanted Joe to win.
Yeah.
But I just want to say I told you so on that. But
I must admit, I did fall into the commentators. Like, they kept pushing him as the dark horse, and I was like, you know what? Maybe they are. Because Samoa Joe had a great match against Brock, which definitely pales in comparison to the Fatal 4-Way he was in. He really wasn't much of a factor into that match. But his one-on-one, just how they allowed him to dominate Brock in the start of it, made me feel like, well, maybe they're going to actually push Samoa Joe. But
then you brought up this thing with this injury, so I'm not sure how that'll go. So this kind of could be why they went in the direction with Strowman. But I really think Strowman deserved his chance. Because we've seen him and Roman Reigns, their rivalry has just been great, like all year long. So maybe now they're trying to give Strowman that much-needed push that he needs. Will he beat Lesnar? I'm still kind of undecided on that yet. I have to kind of see a couple more weeks of how they kind of go with building up toward the pay-per-view. But I think he got a good chance.
Oh, yeah. Personally, I'm going against Brock. I already called it. I'm calling it now. Braun Strowman is getting the title. Which I'm going to keep plugging them as much as I can. Wrestle Talk also saying something about they don't expect to see Brock Lesnar coming back on Raw until like Royal Rumble, maybe like whichever the next major cross-brand pay-per-view. So if they're going to keep the Universal title on Raw, the only chance they got is to put it on Braun Strowman. That way you can actually have it there. Maybe he can actually compete with it. Because even though, Brock Lesnar had it for ever now, it seems like, people are used to him not being up there unless somebody brings it up. But I feel like they definitely need to start having an active champion.
I agree, because Brock Lesnar gets paid per show, every show that he's on. So his contract, and you throw your plug out there for a lot of you guys out there on YouTube. You can check out JD from NY206. If you really want to get some good laughs and some passion about wrestling, that guy is really good at what he does. And he was saying that Brock Lesnar's contract isn't up until WrestleMania season. So with this whole UFC thing brewing with him and Jones, depending on how that goes, that's why I kind of felt like Brock would retain and then maybe No Mercy, because they had him on the card for No Mercy when they were selling the ticket. So probably he will lose to Strowman to go ahead and start training and getting ready for the UFC fight if that's going to take place. And then I did hear the same thing about him maybe come back around Royal Rumble season and then maybe get back in the title picture then. Yep. But I think we got a good, those two matches are really good. But other than that, the No Mercy card to me is still kind of incomplete.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess we're going to kind of build a feud around the IC title, kind of see what The Miz is going to be doing. And then with the tag titles, I assume you'll see Rollins and Ambrose fight Sheamus and Cesaro again. So
most likely. Now, do you feel as though with Reigns kind of dropping down from the title spot of trying to be the main person on the card, which of course they're going to push him sooner or later. But Rollins and Dean having tag titles, and they're kind of getting pushed higher now. Is it possible that we can see a Shield reunion?
I'm going to say no. Because right now, as we know, as I said earlier, right now WWE is like breaking up all the tag teams. I mean, you got, American Alpha on SmackDown Live was broken up. Enzo and Cass got broken up. Now it could be for a while if Jeff Hardy's going to feud with Miz. I mean, that's going to put Matt Hardy, and then the Revival's out. They're injured, so really the tag team division right now is kind of in shambles. So I would say that right now Rollins and Ambrose is just kind of a Band-Aid over it right now, just to try to push it through a couple of pay-per-views maybe. But I honestly feel that Ambrose is going to turn on Seth Rollins, and I think that's going to probably open up another match between them. I don't know what's going to cause the heel turn for Dean Ambrose, but I just feel like Dean Ambrose, like, he's always been the babyface. He's always been the wild, crazy person. That's true. I feel he's got a true dark side in him. Okay. And I think he's going to turn on Seth Rollins just to kind of, when he gets Rollins to trust him a little bit, that's when he's going to go for the move.
Okay. You know what? As much as I really want the Shield reunion, I actually like that idea. That's also Dean's chance to stab Seth in the back, because out of all three of them after the breakup, Dean was the one that kind of took it the hardest. Like, Reigns finally just elevated himself higher than the problem, but Dean was the one. Okay. Of course. But Dean was always the one that was like, I'll never forgive you. I'll do this. And so for him to stab him back would kind of seem justifiable.
The score is settled. Yeah.
Now they'll be even. Then maybe they can have a Shield reunion.
I don't know. I don't think we'll see the Shield reunion for a while.
Man, hashtag bring back the Shield. That's what
I like the Shield. I was a big fan of the Shield, still is, but I just can't because all three of those guys are Universal Champion worthy. Yeah. Probably Seth and Reigns more than Ambrose. But you look at those guys as main attractions. So I mean, you could put a stable together, but I mean, really think about it, you really don't have a stable anymore in the WWE. Yeah. I mean, like you used to see back in the olden days. But
that's true. Now the last part that we're going to get on Raw was the main event between Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss, where Alexa Bliss did what she said she was going to do. How she told everybody that Sasha Banks is bad at defending her title, and she came and took it at Raw on the main event. How do you feel about this, man? This is once again Sasha Banks not keeping the title that she wins.
I'm a big fan of the boss. I mean, it's just like, I feel like they bury her every time she wins the title. Like, what's the point of putting the title on her if you're just going to take it right back from her? And then you're having her lose it, like, on Raw. Like, at least a pay-per-view or something like that. Or, because the whole thing right now, this is what I would do. I would keep the title on Sasha. And then till whenever Bayley gets back, I would have Sasha and Nia Jax kind of feud a little bit. And then maybe she can lose it to Nia and then somehow win it back from Nia. But I do believe Nia Jax deserves a push too. But I think Sasha should do a heel turn on Bayley. Yeah. Actually. And I think that'll be a good feud for the title, because they had some good matches back in NXT. But, I mean, they always, put Bayley as the innocent baby face. And I think maybe she takes that friendship to heart, and then maybe Sasha turns on her, and then they feud over the belt.
Okay. No, I can definitely see that, man. I've heard a lot of good things about the Bayley-Sasha Banks on NXT. And I do agree with you. Nia Jax deserves a push, which it looks like she's getting at least the opportunity when after the match she turned on Alexa Bliss, maybe, to show that she wants it next. So, but do you think they're actually going to let her get it?
Again, I just feel like it should have been more of Sasha and Nia feuding, because they've had some good in-ring chemistry. It's not believable with me with Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. It's just like Nia Jax could just destroy. She can destroy anybody, but I think she'll have a tougher time with Sasha, because Sasha has a little bit better in-ring ability, I think, than Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss does some nice things too, but it's not believable with me because like as we said, like Nia Jackson's like the Braun Strowman of the women's division. I was
about to get into that. I remember you saying that before we started. And I think because of that, they should make her a lot more dominant than they do now. Like, I mean, Braun Strowman rarely loses. And if they were to play her up in that same manner, she already has these losses on weekly shows. Which now it does bring over whoever, beat them, like Sasha Banks. That rivalry was good. It shows like the David Goliath kind of situation. But still, I think they need to push more of her dominance once or twice.
And I think she deserves to have a reign with the belt, even if it's a short reign. Because I kind of get tired of seeing these triple women matches where you got like a fatal 4-way or you got to have a triple threat number one contenders match. And WWE's not really doing a good job of using the talent that they have with these women. No. Some weeks you'll see some of them. They've gotten better over the last couple of weeks where you can see like a lot of the other women. But when they bring them on, it's like the crowd is dead. It's like the match before the main event. At that point, the crowd is not interested in it at that point.
True. That's true. I mean, do you think that accounts to the fact that it's a 3-hour show, Raw?
It could be. I mean, they maybe need to dial it back to 2 hours, maybe. But it's just like a lot of those matches on Raw, like
are fillers.
Cruiserweights and the women's match. Some of those matches, and then I like the Elias little segments with Elias. But other than that, I mean, if it ain't Brock, Reigns, or now Cena's back, or Ambrose and Rollins, or the Miz, or somebody, you really like, okay, I'll flip the channel and I'll turn back.
Right, and come back later.
Yeah.
No, I feel you on that, man. So next, we're going to get into SmackDown.
Yeah, SmackDown this week, man. This week we had Jinder Mahal, the modern day Maharaja, and the non-existent Rusev. And the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura and Randy Orton, like in a tag team matchup. These kind of feuds are crossed together. So I really wasn't a big fan of this match. I guess maybe because I'm not a big fan of Jinder Mahal being a champion. I don't know. At first it was something different, but now it's like, like you have to cheat to win. I know you're a heel, and the heel is supposed to cheat a lot, but it's just like win on your own sometimes.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, he definitely milks it, but I mean, it also credits to him not really performing as well, like all the way on the mic and all this stuff. Because like for the Miz, that example, Miz has the Miztourage. He's had people with him before, and he used it, and it really played well into his heel. But with Jinder, like you said, it's like, dude, you look like a statue.
He looks the part. Now he looks like a big, big time heel. But like one of my things with him, his voice is like he's real low. Like talk like you mean it. Like be the evil person that we expect you to be. And it's just kind of like. And again, I really didn't like the whole idea of him and Nakamura fighting at SummerSlam. Because I feel like Nakamura should have not taken a loss, this early. I think it was kind of early for him to be in the title picture too. But I think it should have been more of Cena versus Mahal at SummerSlam. Yeah. Maybe keep Cena on SmackDown Live a little bit longer because Cena's that American guy. And then you got Jinder Mahal. I think they would have had a good little rivalry together.
And you know what? Now that you said that, I'm gonna try to explain the John Cena part in this last minute. But once again, because of the plug on Wrestle Talk TV on YouTube, they was talking about he's a free agent because he's still doing like TV shows and movies, so he can't stay on one show that long. So the reason for him to switch over to Raw was the fact that his scheduling now has changed. And I also heard on the last little episode of Wrestle Talk that he's pretty much going to be gone after No Mercy. So what does that mean? So I feel like, which is also a reason why he couldn't have won a championship at SummerSlam, because his time took him over to now be on Monday nights. And so with him going to No Mercy, is he going to beat Reigns and beat Reigns and leave? Or, will it be another attempt to put Reigns finally over even more? Or will this help promote him having a heel turn now from that?
Could be.
So, once again, this is Sports Moods. 2 Moodies.
1 Duty.
Sports. And we'll be back.